Hey everyone, Gaijin Goombah here. I've been thinking a whole lot lately. Especially after doing the Why I Hate Miku Hatsune video. I don't talk enough about the pleasant side, the good side of the experience that I've had. A lot of it's been negative. In fact, I've had a fan come up to me at my at my panel the other day, and they were like, "Why did you hate your experience in Jet so much? Like, what was so bad about it?" And I realized it wasn't. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I need to talk about the real positive sides of this. Like, a lot of you have been asking, just talk about your experience in Japan. I've had a lot of people be very curious, so unfortunately this video will not talk all that much about games. It's just gonna be my experiences. I've got a bunch of stuff that I want to show and explain, because it's the best way to explain to you guys the good experiences. The first one, it's kind of silly. It's this little fan. I studied abroad at Kanto Gakuin Daigaku, or Kanto Gakuin University, and that was it seems like a long time ago now. I remember when we got there, it was like August, and August is the worst time you could go to Japan because the heat, and especially the humidity, it never gets below 100% humidity day or night, so it gets really crazy. But the good things about it is that there were lots of festivals, fireworks, everything was green, you know, and the moments before is when the cherry blossoms were in bloom, and that's an unforgettable experience. I hope you guys get that chance to see that someday, because it's just as mesmerizing as you could imagine it is. But very, very hot. So there's that. This is a charm. I'll hold it up. This is a charm. Oop, there we go. Todaiji. I got this charm at Todaiji Temple. It's a huge building. I'll see if I can find a good picture of it, but in it houses this daibutsu. There's one in Kanagawa made of stone. This one was like 6 times that size, made of bronze. And it just towers over you. And it's just so phenomenal, because it felt like such a spiritual place. That's the one cool thing that I really miss about Japan that I loved, is how much spirituality there was in it. And you don't find that. You don't find that in the pop culture. You don't find that in the anime or the manga or anything like that. It's just a crazy powerful experience. And it's so hard to describe. Like, there was this tiny little rundown temple that no one took care of anymore near my home. And I would go to it a lot and just sit, because you were at such peace. It doesn't matter what you believe in. It doesn't matter if you believe in anything. To just sit there and be still, listening to the leaves, watching the sakura fall. I know this is horribly romantic and stupid and cheesy, but I swear to you guys, it's just true. It brought me such joy. So, the temples in general. And speaking of temples, you guys know what this is, I'm pretty sure. But this was from Tagata Jinja. Not a temple, but a shrine, actually. You can kind of see the engravings in there. And I got this basically at the Penis Festival, or Honensai. And it's about fertility. Oh, it's a bell. I apologize if it's really loud. But what was so fascinating about it is that it was one of the very few times that I was in Japan where you know, Nihonjin were Nihonjin and Gaijin were Gaijin. Everyone, I remember, everyone was so drunk. And it was just a phenomenal experience because everyone, I saw foreigner and Japanese, you know, singing and dancing and just having a good time. They had a sake cart. It's just free sake, just passing it out to everyone. It's good sake too. It's probably the only time I've had really good sake. Oh, and the string. The string's really cool because what they would do, it was like a big sheet of this stuff. Hang on a sec. And, they would tear it into strips, and then they would tie it all together. I'll try and get a picture up. And it would look like cherry blossoms, because this was like February. The cherry blossoms weren't even going to come around anytime soon. It was still cold, really cold. Once the parade was done, I mean, you know, the big giant float with the big giant dick and whatnot. Oh, it was just so much fun. When all of it was done, they would take, you know, pieces of the fake sakura tree, which I was able to get. They had these big honkin' mochi that you could just, like, KO someone with. If you had an umbrella, or if you were elderly, you couldn't participate in it, because these things were huge. Like, I actually got one. I didn't eat it, because it hit the ground and it started rolling. And it was dirty. You don't want to eat that kind of dirty mochi. It was just such a happy time. Very, very rarely did I ever feel like I ever fit in, just because of the way things are over there. But it was just one of the few times where you know, I kind of did. And then another time, can you guess what these are? These are bachi. They're very worn down bachi, I will add. This is what I used to play Taiko with, and I played it vigorously, as you can probably tell from all the splintering. It was just another time where I felt like I could actually be, you know, just one of them, you know, just, I don't know. I'm sure this all sounds very, very stupid, but, for me, Taiko was a powerful thing. One of the things that I wanted to do when I was living in Japan and working, I wanted to understand Yamato Damashi. I wanted to understand the heart of Japan, and this brought me one step closer. It's like, when you play it, it's like you're controlling thunder. And I know that sounds really stupid, but it's just so powerful. Waka Sensei, he was like the one who was in charge of everything. I mean, he taught me not everything he knew, but he taught me a lot. In fact, he gave me a solo performance piece, which if you guys want to see, just let me know in the comments. But yeah, they had me dead center playing some stuff. The first time I did it, I screwed it up, and he actually had to stop, and we had to start over, and it was so embarrassing. But I still remember how to play. I still remember all the songs. I just wish I had something to play it on. But yeah, that's another thing that I loved about Japan, was just that spirit and that feeling. So there's that. These just look like everyday ordinary chopsticks, but these are probably some of the most precious things that I brought back from Japan. I don't know if you can read it or see it because of the blurriness, but this is Daiyuzan. This was from a Buddhist temple that I stayed at for 2 days. I don't have many pictures of it because we weren't allowed to. But it was probably one of the most spiritual, kind of life-changing experiences that I ever had, because when we arrived there, it was way up in the mountains. As you can tell, Daiyuzan, just, the last kanji means mountain. I remember the rainfall, and it didn't really fall, it kind of drifted. and it was a mesmerizing experience. This was also when I had my first taste of Zen Buddhist meditation. It was just emptiness and everything in 40 minutes, and that 40 minutes felt like 3. It's a state of just mental absence, really. Everything flows, like your thoughts flow like water. Memories come back to you, and then they leave. They come, and then they leave. And that was the whole point, which is kind of a feeling of letting go. And I remember we ate with them, and they gave us these. That's where I got these from. And they were vegetarians, and I just... My food wasn't very palatable, if that's even a word, to a lot of Japanese cuisine yet, because this is when I was studying abroad, not living. And, it was bad, but we had good hosts. It was the first time I got into an onsen, too. You haven't lived, guys, until you've gotten into a real onsen. Although this was just kind of like, it was like a box. It's kind of silly, but, it was me, the director of the International Relations Department, and then the only other guy that was in this program, Casey. Yeah, it was Casey. It was us 3 just kind of sitting there, soaking in the hot water, and it was super, super hot. I wasn't used to it yet, but now I love super hot, like bathing in super hot water. Thank you, Japan. There was this big giant wooden wall, and like, all the girls were back there. We could hear them splashing and giggling and stuff. I was taken at the time, but even then I was like, huh. It's kind of like you would expect in the anime, but it was a miraculous experience. I wish you guys could have it. It changes you. This is something of great importance to me. I'll see if I can get it in here. This was made by my, I call them my adoptive grandparents, but this would be from my adoptive grandmother, Shizuka-chan. The biggest struggle that I had while I was in Japan was the loneliness, especially after basically my ex-fiancé left me. And they came to me in open arms, and they said, if you need food, we'll cook for you. If you need your laundry done, we'll wash it for you. It was something I didn't have. It was a family that I didn't have, and I can't translate the entire message, but there's a lot. It was back in 2011. Back in August 2011. That's when I came home. It was hard. The 10-hour layover made it a lot easier to come home, but it was still pretty hard. You know, I talked about the bachi. The very night before I left to come back home to the U.S. was a big concert down in downtown Yokkaichi. I'll see if I can find a picture, but it was my last night. Boy, was it a night to remember. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. You guys may have heard me talk about it, but there was this place called Side 6. It was a Gundam themed bar, and Gundam was basically the only anime, manga, whatever, that didn't drive me absolutely bonkers after about a year. There was this guy, the guy who ran it, he called himself Yazan. I mean, that wasn't his real name, but all the people that worked there had a different name based off of someone from the Gundam series. And they before I left, they made me this. I know it's hard to read, but that's me. That's me in Xeon, a Xeon outfit. And I was trying so hard to be serious. I don't know if you can see it, but Universal birth date, Universal Century, 1984. I was a captain. And that's my kanji name, by the way. I don't know if you can read it, but it's Maekeru. It's basically my Japanese kanji name means it can mean two things. It can mean the rice energy that flows, or the American energy that flows. And I think I like that last one a lot, because that's what I tried to do. And while I was over there, I was just trying to show them that Americans weren't big scary people, that we can respect and we can learn, and I don't know. This was back in August 1st, 2001. Good stuff. This was a more negative time, but this right here, this was my emergency bag. For those of you that oh, hang on a second. For those of you that know, and I think everyone does, March 11th was when the massive earthquake around Sendai happened, and I was in Japan at the time. It was terrifying watching all that destruction in real time. Casey got in a jet, much like I did, at the same time even, and he was up north, and his building was like rumbling and crumbling. He had a duck under his desk, and so I was lucky. A lot of people, what I did, as soon as the earthquake happened, I emailed my parents, and a huge time difference, so it was like 2 o'clock in the morning their time. They got my email about saying, "I'm safe, don't worry," long before the news caught on. And they said, okay. And that was that. But then when other people found out, they were like, you gotta come home, it's not worth your life, And I'm like, you guys are pissing me off. I choose to stay behind because this was my dream. I wanted to make a difference in Japan, much like I want to make a difference with the shows and the videos that I do now. And, whistle, in case I got trapped under something. But, I had this with me at all times for a good 2 months after the earthquake, because no one knew what was going to happen. Even hours away, I still remember feeling the tremor, like the initial earthquake. Like we could feel it all the way down south. It was weird because you start moving around ever so slightly and you feel nauseous, but then you see things around you and they're shaking ever so slightly, and I could feel my chair move. And I was born and raised in Kansas, and I live in Arkansas now. I've never experienced an earthquake before, and that was like my first one that I really experienced when I was awake. And everyone turned on the news immediately, because with earthquakes come gigantic tsunamis, giant tidal waves. And sorry, I'm thinking too much about it. But I remember I had a hard time getting sleep for about a week, because 11, 12 o'clock at night, there were aftershocks, and it was terrifying. Not a pleasant experience, but it was worth staying. The jets in Osaka, which is even further away from the epicenter as we were, all of them left to go home. And I could understand, but at the same time I was like, you guys are a bunch of cowards. These are cool. These were my slippers from school. If any of you watch anime, manga, whatever, you know what these are. But yeah, they got this one looks better. It's got my name on it. My kids, man. Oh, I love it. Extra large, double L. I had big feet compared to everyone. I couldn't find shoes in Japan. If you got larger feet, like if you are 10, like men's 10 or higher, you'll never find shoes. But these were always with me. Every time I taught, everywhere I went, like at school, these were with me. So I guess I got kind of a connection to them. They're really sturdy too, which is cool. Speaking of my kids, before I left, a lot of my kids sent me messages, or they left me messages, and I have them segregated in classes. Like Tanaka, that was the teacher that I team taught with, 1-4 odd. Yeah. It was just a lot of questions. Thank you, enjoy your English. Sorry, I'm sure you guys want to see them. This little stuff. Twilight hip hop. I had great kids. They were terrible students, but I had great kids. I love this one. Do you like skateboarding, hip hop, Snoop Dogg? Although I guess we can't call them that anymore, can we? Bad students, great kids. There's this is a huge stack of them, and I kept them. This is recycled paper, so it's really fragile. But yeah, I kept all of them. Oh jeez, I'm sorry, I'm reminiscing. I know I'm boring you guys, but just more examples. Wow, it's been 20 minutes. I appreciate if you guys have stayed this long, because I've been sitting here rambling about nothing. One of the greatest stories that I have, and I guess I'll wrap it up with this. The one thing that reminded me of why I was there, and I had a friend visiting from the U.S., and I was taking her back to the train station because she was leaving, and there were these 3 middle school girls. They just got done with they got done with a sporting event. I didn't know what it was. I could see them whispering and giggling, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's how it's gonna be. So I put her on the train and left, and she left, and I was walking back, and these girls, they're so goofy. I heard one of them whisper something along the lines of, "Nihongo wakaru kana?" Basically, like, I wonder if he understands Japanese. And I turned around, and which is a big old grin. I was like, "So yo," and which is like, yeah, really, really informal. This is what I call the breaking down of tatemae into the honne. Tatemae is the public face that the Japanese put up in order to maintain wa, in order to maintain peace, to not cause conflict. I hate it, because it's the biggest obstacle to cultural understanding. And this is the breakdown, like, in steps. The first step is complete and utter shock. And these girls were just staring at me wide-eyed and gaping-mouthed, because they didn't expect me to speak any Japanese or understand what they were saying. The second step is like, way forward respect. And it wasn't just with kids. Like, I was an adult and they were kids, so I mean, that was going to happen. But I mean, even the adults were doing this too. Hyper politeness, over the top politeness, and respect and whatnot. And I knew it wasn't real. But the one thing I did is I maintained my sincerity. You know, I believe that's something that I do very well. That's my greatest skill, is my sincerity. Not necessarily honesty, but sincerity, kindness, never hiding who I am. I try to do that with my videos all the time. And the final step was the breakdown, because I never gave them tatemae. I never showed them a face. I always showed who I was. And then finally that broke down. That giant concrete wall of tatemae broke down, and they were laughing and giggling. They were being themselves. I was asking them questions like, what sporting event did you get back from? What school did you go to? Their mom came, one of their moms came to pick them up in a van, and then wait, no. I had to leave. Because I was talking with them for like 10 minutes and I had to go. And so I was walking out of the train station to this intersection, because I lived across the street from that intersection.
I heard this honking, and I turned around, I'm like, what? And it was these 3 girls just hanging out the window. And they were like smiling, laughing, and waving, and I was like, yes! Yes! This is my purpose. I made a difference to them. And when I came home, and when I realized that getting a normal job kind of wasn't in the cards, at least not now, that's when I knew I had to keep this going. And that's kind of why I started Game Exchange, is because I wanted to bring that kind of cultural understanding through a medium that I loved, that my friends loved, and that all of these new friends that I've made through it love as well. And, sorry, I'm clicking around a lot. And it's my calling. It's what I gotta do. And I was choking up so bad before I started this video, because I miss Japan. I miss Japan so much. I don't give a damn about the anime. I don't give a damn about the manga. I don't give a damn about the pop culture. It's everything that we as Westerners romanticize about, that I was lucky enough to experience, that I love, and the people. I've got so many more stories about the people, and I'm almost at a half hour, and I better wrap this up, because it's going to take forever to render. But it was the biggest life-changing experience that I had. I don't hate it at all. I hated my job. I loved my life, and I loved the people that I was with. So you know what? You can call me a weeboo till the cows come home. I don't care anymore. Because I've lived that life. I've lived the life that weeboos only dream of. And I've grown from it. I've done everything from soaking in all these great onsens, to meeting all these great people, to climbing some of these giant mountains and looking out for miles over the landscape of Japan. I got to take part in ceremonies that foreigners were usually completely abolished from. One of my friends in Japan let me be a part of there's like an annual visiting of dead relatives, and his sister died when she was very young. I got to be a part of that ceremony of incense and prayers, the Zen Buddhist meditation that I was able to do. That's stuff that weeaboos only dream of. That's stuff that people only dream of, and I was able to do it. So, you guys can call me what you want. Doesn't matter to me. Because I've had a great life, and I've had great experiences. And there ain't a single word in any language that can take that away from me. No troll can take that away from me. I pity the people that try, because they'll never experience what I did. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I do Game Exchange. So, anyway, it's been a half hour. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. But, that's pretty much what I got for now. If you want to hear more stories, if you want to see some of these videos of me doing these things, whatever, leave a comment. Let me know. Let me know what you guys want to see. It's not going to be game-related, I admit, but I think it's crazy interesting. So, leave a comment, tell me what you want to see, and I'll show it to you. So, anyway. Thanks for sticking around, guys. This is Gaijin Goombah, signing out.